Every year when you get ready to start school, everybody's excited, the students are excited.
We had actually just had our gym floor redone in this building, so we had it, ready to go for the kids.
This year, the first day of school also brought an eclipse, and so we were very focused on making that experience really good for kids. A hurricane was not on our minds.
We had all been hearing that it was, like a tropical storm. When it hit land, it was going to be, maybe a Cat 1.
We expected to be, get some rain, is really what we thought.
We were going to stay, we were going to ride it out. Pretty much everybody was.
As Harvey was approaching, we didn't really know where it was going to come ashore.
The superintendent and myself just kept paying attention to the weather.
Our police department, we started having meetings.
We, of course, were involved with emergency operations here in Port Aransas, the meetings, the briefings from the National Weather Service.
We were already starting looking at our disaster plan, making sure that all the key players were in place.
We wanted to be sure that that 8/31 payroll had gone out.
Started stocking our supplies, started emergency keys.
Getting things secured, getting things covered.
Even up through, Wednesday night, we thought it was going to be a weak hurricane.
It happened so fast, it strengthened just overnight.
That's when we knew it was going to be severe. We were going to take a direct hit. Everything just went into high gear.
We started battening down the hatches immediately.
Central administrators were all on hand, campus administrators were all on hand.
They closed the district, which was a benefit because it allowed us to really button up our buildings.
Anything that might be on the floor was lifted. In the event that water should enter a building, we wanted to protect as many of the assets inside as possible.
The families, they were actually looking to the district for information. We started with social media, trying to let everybody know what was going on and what we were doing as a district to help them out.
We became shelters for the National Guard and a number of other first responders in the district.
We dismissed our students and secured our schools and then evacuated our community as we were ordered to do.
We had everything boarded up by about 3 o'clock, and then we all had stuff that we had to take care of. We had to go take care of our houses, and man, you're looking at your house in your rearview mirror, not knowing if you're going to see your house again ever.
Our maintenance director, we were in communication the day of the storm. During that process, he had helped evacuate the first responders.
The storm probably hit land over here about 1 o'clock. It was wild because it was 60, 70 mile an hour winds trying to get out here in the bus, and we were rocking and rolling.
Friday night, wherever we were evacuated, we were glued to the TV, glued to the internet, and texting each other, trying to hear if anybody had heard anything.
Our primary concern remains dramatic flooding.
In trying to figure out what needed to be done, I reached out to several of my colleagues that are a member of the Coastal Bend TASBO.
I have personally talked to several different school business people that have had fires or hurricanes or any other kind of natural disaster, to find out what steps 1, 2, and 3 are, and that was tremendous help.
The open forum is very, very helpful. There's a lot of ideas, good ideas.
You've got people that have dealt with situations before, such as Wes, that had the explosion, and they were able to provide us information on how to deal with FEMA.
It wasn't a vacation those few days we were away. We were busy working, trying to make contacts all over the state.
The hurricane came in and we really didn't see the wind that you saw at the ground zero impact. We saw rain. I've described it as rain of biblical proportions.
It was just hard rain and rain and rain.
It was just incredible, the amount of noise that rain made. Just a steady roar.
You could almost feel the rain hitting the roof. It was so loud. and then it would ease up, and then another band would come in.
Even when the rain stopped because of the reservoirs emptying into our neighborhoods, the water continued to rise.
I saw water running over roads like a river. Families were being evacuated right and left with airboats.
Any of the schools that we could open up to assist people just temporarily to get somewhere for safety, we did that.
We needed a place for our community members to come and get dry clothes and have a place to stay.
We identified 2 locations. I actually ran the shelter along with hundreds of volunteers.
We reached out to our community, those folks that weren't flooded, and asked for donations of blankets, pillows, air mattresses. I think that's a testament of the goodwill of a community, and you saw that not only in Katy ISD, but across the whole Gulf Coast region.
It was unbelievable, just seeing things that shouldn't be there.
It was just people walking around in really like in a daze, like what just happened.
The roads were impassable because of debris, trees, roofs, boats in the middle of the roads.
There was no building in our district that was not damaged.
You know, one of the first things I remember seeing back here was just all of the debris. There was so much debris up against the school. Walked up and went inside this building. Oh, Lord. All right, immediately stepping in water. As soon as I walked in, I'm walking in water. There's probably about 2.5 inches of water inside the school. Okay, we got water standing on the library floor. Looks like all the ceiling tiles held up good. I'm not really sure where this water came from. I get right here, when you look up, you see the sky. All that outside rain was just coming straight in, so that's where all the water came from. Middle school's hit real hard. Sick to my stomach right now. This is probably one of the places right here where I lost it right here. Teachers get really close to their kids because they, see them every day, they take care of them every day. And well, me and my crew, we take care of these buildings, so we form a bond with our buildings. It was hard seeing them in the shape they were in.
"4 days after the storm, we came in by boat to assess the campus.
Mark Teed started sending me texts of pictures of the building immediately after he got in here. In the picture, the carpet was floating inside the building.
I would have to admit I was emotional. Just what I saw coming to the school. Every one of those houses had a family in it, and those kids, we needed to support them.
It was very obvious we were dealing with a complete renovation of the building, and so alternate plans started at that point.
Hurricane Harvey was the largest natural disaster in the history of the state of Texas. The storm reached from Port Aransas to Port Arthur, which is on the Louisiana border, over school systems that educate roughly 1.9 million students. When you think of the size of the impact, it is epic.
Down in the Port Arthur area, there was water that was just unfathomable to me. Around Beaumont, there was no sewer, no public utilities.
When there is so much devastation and so much difficulty and so many people who were displaced, it does create a feeling of hopelessness and not knowing exactly where to begin.
We have our emergency planning book, and it was up to date. But I'm going to tell you, it didn't ever do anything to prepare us for this.
It was important to all of us to make sure that districts had the knowledge they needed to be successful.
TASBO is important because it brings all the school districts together, and one district may be able to help another district.
I wanted to talk to Carol Sue at Port Aransas. I called her a cell phone. That's how we made it work. We wouldn't know each other without TASBO.
Definitely helps to have some kind of communication so that you have someone you can hold hands with as you jump off the cliff.
The storm affects much more than the school buildings themselves. The storm has decimated whole communities. Teachers have lost homes. Parents have lost homes. large numbers of kids. They're staying with grandma or they're in hotels in some cases.
There was nothing for the kids to come back to at first, and so the first order of business was trying to retrieve all the records so that the students could actually go to school somewhere else.
The Tuesday after Labor Day, we welcomed back our 4,500 students and registered an additional 1,800 students from our neighbors because it was the right thing to do.
How are you? Good.
A couple things going on. The elementary pretty much is completely 100% today. So I don't know if you need to walk it with you and Gina, just kind of walk through there.
Good.
So,
We're excited about that.
yeah.
The most exciting day since the storm hit was October 16th because the school district reopened. We got our kids back, we got our teachers back. And that really was a turning point in our community. It meant that there was hope.
The rebuilding for this area, I think, has gone faster than expected. We have some great contractors. We have a great staff that has worked hard and worked as a team to get our facilities back in shape.
I've been absolutely amazed by the resiliency of our school districts. We have districts that the entire district was wiped out, but they found a way to welcome home their students.
I think the main narrative of the story was Texans coming together because that is exactly what happened.
Grand Prairie assembled a team and within a few days came down to Wharton and began to assist us in our recovery. When they rolled in with truck after truck after truck, loaded with equipment, loaded with supplies, it was a beautiful sight.
The stories of resilience are remarkable. You have rapid repair teams going to work so that we could get kids back into clean, mold-free environments. Our school cafeterias were used not just to feed kids, but feed whole communities. That's the sort of resilience of the business systems, but you see resilience in the people and the social systems as well.
This community rose. The churches came together, the city, the county. So while it was devastating, the strength of the community was remarkable.
People have been so incredibly kind and generous to us all over the state, all over the nation, and we've been very touched by that.
So this one and our high school gym floor were two things that I was really concerned about whenever I got to the school. We actually had water get out onto the floor probably about 15 feet. Once we started tearing up the wood, we got over halfway across the floor and there was still water underneath, so we ended up having to tear a brand new floor, tear it all out and redo it. But we went back the exact same way. We got the exact same artist back out here to do all the work and everything. You know, I mean, I'm speechless. We've wanted this kind of floor in this school for years, and for it to be back the way it was 3 or 4 months ago, I mean, it's great.